The policy of blocking student bathrooms with gates at Decatur Central High School creates unnecessary barriers to basic needs, negatively impacting student health, academic performance, and overall well-being. By treating restroom access as a privilege rather than a right, this policy forces students to endure discomfort, long wait times, missed class time, highlighting a systematic failure to prioritize student needs. And it begins to raise the question, is it a privilege to pee? Decatur Central High School, there's a population of over 2,000 students and 16 bathrooms, 8 for men and 8 for women. But the availability to use the bathrooms are limited during the school day, with bathrooms being locked 30% of the time. We will be speaking to a mix of students and teachers at Decatur to see what they think about this policy, how it affects them, and if they believe Decatur has made it a privilege to pee.
For me personally, the bathroom policy doesn't affect me a huge amount. The limit of amount of times you can use the e-hall pass to go to the bathroom is 3 times, and I don't find difficult to using any more than that during the day. But I will say that my main problem with the bathroom policy right now is the lunch bathroom policy, because at a certain point during different lunches you have is also different, and for a lot of students they have different lunches on gold days than on blue days. So for one day, yeah, sure, you can go to the bathroom once you finish your lunch. On another day, you can't go if it's the last 10 minutes of lunch. And so we only have 25 minutes of lunch, and once you factor in the amount of time it takes to go in line and then eat your food, you really don't have enough time to use the bathroom. And then with leaving lunch, that's a whole challenge, getting through those doors. You often don't have enough time to use the bathroom before you get to class. And then you don't want to use one of your 3 hall pass periods to go to the bathroom. And then a lot of teachers will say, why didn't you go during lunch? Why didn't you go to the bathroom during lunch? And it's like, I can't sometimes. So that's how me personally, I'm affected most by the bathroom policy.
There's a twofold answer to that. Students are being affected positively because there's an encouragement to stay in the learning environment. Students are being affected negatively because there are more steps for the students who are doing the correct thing to have to go through, hoops to jump through in order to do the correct thing.
Well, the bathroom policy, I don't really think it was ever announced. I think it was just kind of something that they did. But when I found out, I thought it was kind of stupid. And the longer it went on, the more bathrooms they started locking, and it's kind of dumb. Like the bathroom near, all of the bathrooms near the performing arts sections are locked. So if you take like an extracurricular or performing art, or a sport, and you have to come down to like APC or theater or choir, you have to go all the way to the commons bathroom, wasting time. And I thought they wanted students in class, so why would they make us waste all of that time walking all the way over there to the bathrooms instead of just going to the bathroom that's closest to us?
I think it's negatively impacting the ones that were not the issue in the first place, and then I think it doesn't make a difference either way to the people that it's meant to kind of get at, because the ones who are doing the problem behavior are just going to do it anyways and find a way around it, / teachers end up leaving the bathrooms unlocked because it's just too much to keep track of, so they're still rocking and doing what they're doing, and then the kids who actually are good and just need to go to the bathroom have to suffer and find their way around all of the chaos.
For Decatur Central and specifically, I think it's really interesting, personally, how much we control students using the bathroom. It's a huge thing in our school specifically, making sure that we know where students are at all times, making sure we're trying to keep them in class for the whole class period, making sure that students aren't skipping. And for the most part, I understand that. But it becomes a problem when it takes me 5 minutes out of class to make a hall pass and ask my teacher to approve it. And before, when my teacher could just say, yeah, go to the bathroom, they now have to enter their code and select yes. And sometimes the Wi-Fi doesn't work. And so there's big problems with this policy of having these internet-based hall passes with all of these limits for our school. And I think the phrase privilege to pee really is true in this case. Are you able to take that time out of class to do that? Does your teacher trust you enough to let you go to the bathroom? Maybe, you just have a bit of a turmoilent relationship with your teacher. It's a bit turbulent, and suddenly your teacher isn't letting you go to the bathroom, and I feel like that can be, it's a whole thing. And I just want to pee. I just want to go to the bathroom. It's a normal thing of my day. I'm here for 8 hours of the day. I'm going to need to use the bathroom, and I really think it should be easier to access, easier to get to a close bathroom without having to jump through borderline litigation. I don't want to have to sign off on papers to go pee.
A human need and a human right to use the bathroom. However, I think that so many students are losing trust with the adults in the building that we have to, in some way, shape, or form, monitor its usage because it is being misused. The time and the space are being misused because we're losing trust in students because a majority, and a vast majority, of students are misusing that trust.
I think we've made it a privilege to pee. Not necessarily. I grew up in a very strict Catholic school environment where you actually did, you're only going to the bathroom if you're about to pee your pants, and you get your one bathroom pass, or you have a limited number of times you could use the bathroom for the day or the week, whatever it might have been. And so I think most of the teachers here, if a student needs to go to the bathroom, most of the time we just write them a pass and they get to go. And if it's during sixth period or second period, most of the teachers I know, we're all right, pause, we'll just all go to the bathroom then, because I think we care and we don't want people peeing their pants because that's not fun. So I don't think we've made it a privilege to pee, but I think it's we're kind of making it sound like that, but that's not what's really going on. We're trying to fix one issue by causing another issue, if that makes sense.
I think it is a privilege. There is a privilege to pee at Decatur Central. Since you if you since we do the e-hall passes now, you only get a certain amount of passes a day, so you can only use the bathroom a certain amount of times in the middle of classes a day, which is stupid because I feel you should just be allowed to go and nobody will think anything of it. But I guess if you're one of those students who use the bathroom and never come back, then it should be restricted. But otherwise, I think we should just be allowed to use the bathrooms and not have them locked all the time.
The last student we'll be speaking to endured medical issues due to this policy. For this reason, they chose to stay anonymous.
My medical conditions that I were diagnosed with were called hematuria and dysuria, which basically means I had difficulty urinating to the point I was bleeding anytime I went to the bathroom. This was due to long periods of time I spent without going to the restroom at school. My urinary tract muscles became too strong and irritated from having to hold it in for too long, causing bleeding to occur. The school bathroom policy directly affected this because due to the limited amount of restrooms open during the day, I would be forced to hold it in for hours at a time due to not wanting to disrupt class time or simply be embarrassed by asking in the middle of a lesson, or I didn't want to wait in a long line during passing period. Urinating during school hours was difficult, and with that, my physical ability to relieve myself also became difficult. I don't think the school was thinking about students with health issues when implementing this policy on the physical and mental health side. I remember talking to my pediatric doctor when I had one of my appointments for this problem, and she said that my case was actually extremely common in teenagers. So many schools lock up bathrooms or simply don't allow students to go during class periods, causing a lot of students' muscles to tighten like mine did. Mentally, not just the action of leaving the classroom and unlocking the bathroom or walking down a flight of stairs all the way across the school and missing out on education was anxiety-inducing, but the idea of being an inconvenience to the people around me also held me back, which I'm sure so many other students with mental health problems can relate to. I can't imagine other kids my age who already had this condition before these policies were implemented, were thought about, or how it could affect their physical health. Because even with just as long as I waited to get medical attention, I was still at very high risk for getting kidney stones. And I can't imagine how much sicker I could have gotten if I did wait. And if kids that already had this problem, urinating or anything similar to it, and then they also had these policies implemented, like, it could have been so much worse than how I had it. And I bet other students have experienced it. It's just like we're teenagers. Who wants to talk about, like, oh, I can't piss, or oh, I can't pee? I think Decatur Central has made it a privilege to pee, in the sense that due to other kids' actions or whatever actions they think kids are committing, the entire student body has to adhere to special guidelines and rules to something that is a natural human right and literally needed to, like, live. Why do I have to be punished and not being able to go to the bathroom when I need to because somebody that I don't even know or associate myself with or anything like that decided to horse around too much? How is that fair to me?
The locked bathroom policy isn't just an inconvenience. It's a denial of the basic needs. No student should have to choose between comfort and education.